The 2024 Northeast Futsal Championships hosted by USFF in Atlantic City was a huge success. 525 teams participated across 27 age divisions for a total of 920 games. That's 7,200 goals that we saw in that tournament, as well as 94 officials from several different states across the United States, 14 to be exact. On top of that, we saw 5,500 athletes and coaches participating in front of 6,200 spectators over the course of the weekend. So a massive success for futsal 2 weeks ago, as boasted by the USFF Facebook page. As far as they're aware, it is the best attended and participated futsal tournament in the history of United States futsal. I can't imagine anything being larger than that based on anything I know about the futsal circle. So I believe that is correct. And hopefully someone can come through next year, maybe even USFF, and break this record a second time. It'd be really cool to see what happens in 2025. A couple of things that were a little weird about this. You know, in the lead up to the tournament, USFF was actually complaining about a small handful of teams that had canceled prior to the tournament last minute, that had delayed the scheduling. I noticed that the comments were turned off on their Facebook page, so I wonder if some negative comments were driving that decision. I do not know if their comments were turned off prior to that post, but we saw something similar from the Indoor Arena League ownership group that was supposed to start the WFL 2 years ago, and they had to do the same thing. They're getting so much negative connotation on the way they had been managing discipline of players and of teams, that they actually turned off the comments on their Twitter and Facebook pages because it was just an absolute bombardment from the fans that were just absolutely irritated. So I wonder if something similar happened here. I didn't follow it close enough to see for sure, but just very interesting take, especially when you have this many teams. I understand scheduling for anything and having teams drop out is a massive pain in the butt, but you are about to host the largest futsal tournament in the United States ever. Let's just move on and focus on the positives. I don't understand the spotlight on that, but it doesn't look like it took away from the teams, because it was an extremely exciting weekend for all the teams involved. We saw some of our friends of the channel participate in it, like Josh Danza from Baltimore Kings. He had several Kings divisions in this tournament. I believe there was a total of 4, including a women's team, the Royals, which was really exciting to hear about. I also got to see our friends at Grand Rapids Olay, big fans here from the channel, to them on their Twitch page. They found a way to do some pop-up streams kind of last minute and get a little bit of visibility in. The typical challenges we see with streaming there with connectivity, and it was kind of done spring of the moment. So was it perfectly balanced? No, but we got some really great video and content out of it, and their viewership seemed pretty strong considering what it is compared to their NFPL matches. So I would say it was a good reprieve for them to participate in this tournament and get a little bit more airtime. So congratulations to them as well. I want to know what we go to from here. You know, there's 3 governing bodies for futsal in the United States. There's United Futsal, there's USYF, and then, of course, who we're talking about today, USFF. All of them do tournaments pretty well. You know, they tend to be a pretty good spectacle. They've been doing them for decades now and know how to run a tournament. But the question is, where do we go from here? How do we get beyond these moneymaker tournaments and do something substantial for the growth of futsal outside of the long weekend? You know, they're very important that we have these tournaments. It's very important to create a platform, especially for the kids, to get some regional and international competition and raise their skill level up. Continue to give them something to drive for within the sport, give them those upward goals. But the thing for me is, what else can these groups be doing other than creating that platform? Look, I know it's not a sexy Facebook post to be talking about what you're doing to advocate to someone like U.S. Soccer Federation for a more focus and funding on futsal, but it would be great to see a little more transparency on what these organizations are doing, especially ones like USFF, who like to brag that they are so tightly knit with U.S. Soccer. What are we doing to push futsal forward? What are we doing for the betterment of everyone? That's what I'd like to hear more about. I love these tournaments. I hope to see more. I hope that it continues to grow the sport as it did for USFF in Atlantic City. They'll be heading to the Northwest here soon to try and duplicate their success out there on the West Coast. So stay tuned for that and keep an eye on their social media channels to find out more about that. I want to hear what you guys think about that in the comments. What do you want to see from the organizations that are governing futsal in the United States? What needs to be done to take this to that next big level and possibly even create some professional opportunities for these kids once they exit high school and college? And until I hear your thoughts then, don't forget to play with your soul.